So it's officially been near 3 weeks since Valve devs sent out the Mission Possible update, bringing back Counter-Strike to its roots, featuring weekly missions. Now this, unlike Operations, doesn't give you rewards. Nothing counts towards a pass, nor does it feature co-op missions, or any of the fun, quirky features that an Operation would have from CSGO. This just goes strictly to weekly XP. Now today's video is another episode in our AfterMath series. We're following a major update for CS2. We review it just after a couple weeks time, see how it holds up, if Valve's gonna add to it, and what it means for Counter-Strike now, but also going forward. Now, since the day this update came out until now, the devs have laid the groundwork for what could be coming soon. It's now just up to the devs for if they want to expand on this or not. But before we go any further, I would like to give a huge thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring today's video. SkinsMonkey is a buying and trading marketplace where you can replace your old skins for something shiny. To start a trade, it's as simple as to click the skins you no longer want and grab the new skins you want to obtain. If you need to top up your balance, you can use my code MANDO for an additional 35% deposit bonus, as well as you can also get up to a free $5. With SkinsMonkey's large variety of skins, they also offer daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. Be sure to check them out in the top link in the description down below. Now, firstly for today's video is the Mission Possible update itself. Now, prior to this update, the best way to say it is this game was in a really weird spot. The game desperately needed content, fixes, and communication from the devs, showing us they still care about the players, not to mention the franchise. Because at that point in time, they seemingly took a 2-month break without talking to anybody. Within that 2-month time, we received minimal DPR updates, minimal shadow updates to CS2, and nothing official on that blog post. And of course, after the devs came out of hiding on May 7th, devs released this update, surprising all players and getting them hyped for what's to come in CS2 soon. Now, most players label the Mission Possible update as the MVP update 2.0, but unlike the MVP update in early 2024, where we had maps that not a whole lot of players really enjoyed, nor did the update really have any new features or major additions. The MVP update in 2024 just felt filler. It was just an empty void, as most people like to call it. With the Mission Possible update, it was quite the opposite. Players were excited Valve was back. And yes, looking back, it seems a little bit bare bones with what you received, but a lot of players can agree that this laid the groundwork for co-op missions and all that to come one day in the future. Now, where the Mission Possible update really shined aside from weekly missions was the fact that the devs brought back old beloved maps from Counter-Strike's past, specifically CSGO. Now, Agency for me, as well as many other players in the Counter-Strike community, was one of the most highly anticipated maps for an official release on Valve's official servers for CS2. It looks beautiful compared to the version in CSGO. The devs for the map really gave it its, well, Source 2 charm, but that doesn't mean this update didn't have controversy. And the map Grail in the Mission Possible update was very interesting to say the least. On one hand of things, it's one of the most colorful, most beautiful, and creative maps in the franchise's history, but of course that doesn't mean the map and the update didn't have some controversy. On one hand of things, the map looks like it's from Valorant. On another, it looks like it's a ripoff from the Black Ops 3 map Splash, which was a DLC map for Call of Duty Black Ops 3 in early 2016. The similarities are huge, but it seems to be different enough where players like myself love it. The layout for a lot of people, not so much. What's weird about Grail is the design and concept actually reminds me quite a bit of Zoo from CSGO's past Operations, which I hope Zoo comes back soon. Other maps for Wingman and the rest of the map pool were also pretty good. For me, I don't go playing a whole lot of Wingman within Counter-Strike, and for me to go out of my way to play some of these maps that I actually don't mind, that's pretty good. It's a good job to those creators. So like we mentioned earlier, CS2 up until this point was needing something new, innovative, something that kept players engaged playing the game at all times. And with the leaks from the end of the limited test until now, those leaks became true, that being weekly missions. At first, missions were leaked to be in a cooperative style like we saw in previous CSGO Operations. You had to play with a friend to manage and complete the mission to move on. The only thing is that the missions from this update are in no way connected to the Armory pass, any Operation pass. They're just strictly for weekly XP. Nothing more, nothing less. There's nothing really special about them. It's now just another objective you have to do while playing CSGO from Valve. Not to mention, since we now have weekly missions, the Armory pass, and other features from an Operation, since the majority of this released, many players have begun to consider the fact that Operations, the ones we knew and loved in CSGO, may never ever be returning. I mean, at this point in time within Counter-Strike's life cycle, with what we have in the game, how would Operations even work, let alone make sense inside CS2 at this given point? We have almost everything from an Operation, just without the Operation. There's no lore, there's no storyline, there's no quirky features that an Operation would come with. We now have weekly missions, just minus the Operation part, and we also have a 24/7 battle pass that also just doesn't refresh. But we're getting a little off track, and that's kind of besides the point for today's video. The missions that were added to CS2 are just basic objectives you can complete just by simply playing the game, not any differently than what most players do and would consider normal in the past. Now, there is a free reward that all players can obtain by completing said mission weekly, but this week's objective, for instance, is just winning 15 rounds on Train Competitive. Now, the only real problem that most players consider to be with this update, including myself, is how basic these missions truly are. And for some people who strictly play Premier and not competitive, not to mention the one-off fun modes such as as Arms Race, well, those people are pretty limited. These missions are easy, basic, and can be completed in a matter of minutes and some hours, really depending on all your luck. And once you have completed these said missions, then you have to wait a week for the new challenge to release, which for players who play a couple hours a day or even a few times a week, the majority of those people are going to finish that mission within their first session, and that's it. There's no new objective for a week's time. So with that being said, Valve has laid the groundwork for what's to come and can be added into CS2's future. It's really just a matter of if they follow through or not. What we have here in CS2 is pretty much like an operation back in CSGO, just minus a major release all up front. We're not getting a lump sum all at once. And with a lot of these features that have been added to CS2 as of recently, most likely not disappearing in the near future, CS2 could be a great Counter-Strike title, and even better than what was promised from the beginning. And what do you guys think of this update? Do you think it was worth the hype? What do you think the devs need to change? Now for me, I'm just really hoping that the devs really add some sort of missions that offer some sort of cooperative experience with a story, like the devs did back in CSGO for an operation. And who's to say they also can't add a set of weekly missions connected to the Armory or some sort of different pass? Either way, this makes a pretty interesting debate whether or not CS2 devs will one day add operations back, since as of right now in CS2, we're getting more content month to month than we would for an operation back in Go, where then we would go, well, a year gap, 2-year gap without one. It's just really hard to say. But that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay posy sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.